Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today. My name is Mel Rose, and I am here to share your daily aspects. Today is Tuesday, April 26, 2022. Sun in Taurus and a waning crescent moon in Pisces. We express ourselves when we use our physical resources to reinforce security in our lives, and we have an inner drive to relax, play, dream, and create. These two positions are not as diametrically opposed as they might seem. In fact, Earth energy requires the replenishment of water's power to provide growth and stability. The waning crescent moon points our attention and emotional labor in the direction of decrease, simplifying our lives by actively releasing attitudes and dispositions that have gotten in our way, letting go of ideals that no longer serve us, and pushing out the stuff and things that are weighing us down. Uranus and Mercury are also in Taurus at this time. Our foundations have been shifting, and as they continue to do so, they become a bigger part of the general conversation. Specifically, we are focused on what we need to thrive and making plans to garner those resources based on the changes that we receive. That's all right there if you look at it. I am going to get right into the aspects, but first I will point out the handcrafted key on the right-hand side of the page. Most of the symbols on the page have made it into the key. If you desire a point of reference, it's right here. I've otherwise divided the page into two columns, one for each of our luminaries. The moon is the luminary that sheds light on our inner lives. This is your relationship with yourself, what it feels like for you to be in your body, heart, and mind, and in your home. The transits and aspects that the moon makes are all very brief, and they have a subtle impact on those things that you think, feel, know, and intuit, but may choose whether to express. The sun is the luminary that sheds light on our outer lives. This is the outward expression of yourself in the world, specifically in your work, social, and civic spaces. I address the sun and the rest of the planet's movements on this side because they have a greater influence on that outward expression. And we begin on the moon side today, Central Standard Time, friends, at 6:39 this morning. Moon goes sextile to Uranus. We feel open to change in the heart and home. Always talk to the people you keep close about the changes you're trying to make. Your efforts at this time can generate good outcomes. Then, late tonight at 11:50 p.m., Moon goes conjunct to Venus. We can be very receptive and loving at this time. We attract and are attracted to the beauty in our lives. Celebrate this vibe by getting close to someone that you like a lot or love even. I just want to point out, and we'll say this again, that the moon going conjunct to Venus at this time is almost like a prelude to the Venus conjunct Neptune that's coming in tomorrow. So we're definitely feeling those vibes in advance of just, having open hearts and being more interested in connection. Finally, very late at 1:02 Wednesday morning, Moon goes conjunct to Neptune. Cancer and Pisces may be the most involved here. We can be very sensitive at this time or easily deceived or confused. Don't lean too hard on your hunches. If you're dreaming at this time, you may dream something prescient or beneficial, so keep that dream diary nearby. On the sun side of the page today, just after midnight at 12:11 a.m. Wednesday morning, Mercury goes sextile to Jupiter. Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, most likely to notice this with us just for a couple of days. This aspect lends us the perspective and know how to plan an expanded future we can see for ourselves. So, we just got out of that Jupiter conjunct Neptune for 2 weeks, I believe. And, what we were able to do was expand and create an expanded idea of what our lives should look like, what we can be, do, and have in terms of, like how we want to connect with others and how we want to grow in the world. So now is a great time to be having the conversation about the plan. Like now that we've had our hearts and minds pushed open a little bit and we have a bigger idea of what we can be doing and have, it's time to think about that big plan. It's really available to the intellect to give it some thought at this time. In the ongoing column on the sun side of the page, Mercury sextile Neptune will be with us through the 29th. This aspect may find us in a more spiritual or creative mindset. Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, these are your ruling planets. Your plans and conversations regarding your connection to spirit and your dreams of self-expression are likely to bear fruit. When Pisces is involved right now, I'm also going to say that, Libra and Taurus and Aries and Scorpio are also involved because Venus and Mars are right there in Pisces with Neptune. And then Mercury is here in Taurus, making that nice sextile aspect, which brings about a cooperative vibe between your intellect, your ability to analyze, create, plan, and communicate. Mostly analyze, plan, and communicate in this cooperative vibe with your ability to create, to think in a more imaginative and colorful way. Excuse me. Mercury square Saturn is with us through May 1st. And this brings up the requirement of mental labor with some challenges to communicating what it is that we're working on without facing negative feedback. Gemini, Virgo, Capricorn, and Aquarius have ruling planets here. Some of the things we're working on may be better dealt with alone. Save the expression of these thoughts and plans for when they are better formed. Mercury sextile Venus will be with us through the 11th of May. Giving us this positive cooperative vibration between the intellect and our ability to attract what it is that we need and desire. Taurus, Gemini, Virgo, and Libra have ruling planets here. At this time, we are empowered to negotiate the terms by which we receive attention, affection, and compensation. I encourage us all to take advantage of this energetic opportunity, especially because of the recent Jupiter and Neptune conjunction and the expanded blessing of creativity that has brought into our lives. Tomorrow, Venus will go conjunct to Neptune, and our receptive nature at this time is being dissolved together with our yearning to connect and create. It can be a very fertile time. It can be a very sexy time. It can just also be a very artistic time, or a very good time to reflect on spirit, to engage with spirit in a way that is more receptive rather than reaching out and trying to grab spirit, sort of opening ourselves up and allowing that message to come in. This Thursday, Mercury makes a trine with Pluto that will last a couple of weeks, bringing ideal functioning to our thoughts and conversations about the transformations we're undergoing. Pluto will kick off our retrograde season this year on Friday, and Mercury makes ingress to its home sign of Gemini. We'll see the new moon in Taurus next Saturday, where we begin again to plan for the future. And next Sunday brings the beginning of solar Beltane, the midpoint celebration between spring equinox and summer solstice, when things really begin to heat up. So a lot of stuff going on in the coming week, actually several weeks. I took my little note-taking peer into the future recently, and it's going to be pretty active for a while. Today, if I had a title for today's episode, it would be Mercury, Mercury, Mercury. So we're having a lot of thoughts and planning and analysis and discussion, and we're working on some things. But that's really it's really good to be in that headspace where we can think about what's spiritual, but also what is practical, what it is to be receptive, while we have this expanded idea of what we can be, do, and have. Okay, that's it for today's astrology. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Please like my video, subscribe, click the notifications bell. I post here every day, and I wouldn't want you to miss a thing. And friends, I appreciate it so much when you comment to ask questions or provide encouragement. It isn't just gratifying for me to know that you're listening, but it does let YouTube know that you are engaged in the content, and that is helping me a lot. Also, if you know anyone for whom this guidance may resonate, I encourage you to share. Sharing is caring after all. Now I'm going to take a couple of minutes to talk about Tarot as it relates to astrology today. First, I will discuss the Tarot card that sits on the side of the page. Then I'll do a quick rundown of today's astrology again before throwing a random card that hopefully speaks to today's energies. So let's go ahead and get into that. The Tarot card that sits on the side of the page today is the Five of Pentacles. It represents the first 10 days, astrologically, the first 10 days of the sun's transit through Taurus. So sun has a 30-day transit in each sign. There will be 3 10-day segments of each of those, and there are 36 total, which make up the wheel of the year. So this 10 days is dedicated to the Five of Pentacles. Pentacles is Earth in Tarot, and Taurus is the fixed Earth sign in Tarot. Taurus is the is the sign that really enjoys the sensual aspect of being in a body and making use of resources, right? So it's appropriate that this is the beginning, because this really represents a moment of lack. Five of Pentacles, if you can see the people on the card there, are experiencing some need, some poverty, some sort of physical being the key word, insecurity. It's about your resources, your body, and the assets that you have, including your money. So this really reflects a time of desperation. You see these people walking out in the cold. One of them appears to be on crutches, and then the other one they both appear to be somewhat barefoot. So walking around in the snow in your bare feet might be a very good allegory for this picture. But the other part of the picture that you see is that there's a building behind them that they're walking past, and there's a big lit up window with a bunch of coins basically like shining out there. So I say building also relates to institution or a person, a physical entity in the world that has resources, that is made out of resources. You can tell they're made out of resources because of the resources they surround themselves, the bricks with which their buildings are made, the glass, the light that they have to be, that they're able to shine it out the window and share it with the rest of the world, right? So, when you're in this time of poverty, lack, or need, or insecurity, don't pass up the opportunity to get the resources you need, okay? It's one thing to go without something that you like to have for a little while, because you're not making ends quite meet, and maybe I just shouldn't eat so many chocolate bars, right? So, maybe I don't need to afford the chocolate bars this month. That's one thing, but it's another thing if you're going without food because you paid your rent, or anything that would be allegorical to walking around in the snow without any shoes. Don't lose your feet because you are too proud to ask for a pair of shoes or the money to buy a pair of shoes. Okay? That's really the message of this card. There are people, there are institutions, you can tell by their buildings, by what they have and what they advertise that they can give. So if you're going without food, or if you're going without, clothes, or if there's something really that you need that you're going without, do not go without to your future detriment, okay? Swallow the pride if that's what you have to do, and go ahead and ask for the help that you need. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and mix up some cards here while I remind myself and the cards that the sun is in Taurus. Sun in Taurus is really a time of, like, the green things are putting down roots and really starting to come to life. This is the beginning of the middle of spring. And well, you know, Sun in Taurus is the middle of spring. This first 10 days is the beginning of the middle of spring. You can really see things putting down roots. If you put seeds in the last couple of weeks, you know, with the spring equinox, you're going to see them really starting to take off at this time. Uranus and Mercury in Taurus as well. Normally very difficult sort of feeling with Uranus and Taurus, because it's like, you know, Taurus seeks security and Uranus wants to change things up, and that doesn't usually work very well. But we've had some pretty good functioning lately. We had Uranus and Venus in a positive functioning vibe with each other. We had Mercury and Venus we have Mercury and Venus in this positive functioning vibe with us. Venus is Taurus's ruler. So this is a really good time to be thinking about, you know, your expanded idea, your big idea of what it is that makes you feel secure, or what kind of lifestyle you want to be living. And I mean physically in the world. Taurus is very much about Earth is very much about those physical world resources. You know, what do you have in terms of your body, and what do you have in terms of the resources that you need to live the life that you think is worth living. Moon is a waning crescent in Pisces. Moon in Pisces is very creative, relaxed vibe. Pisces is the end of the cycle, of the lunar cycle for the month, so kind of relax and reflect and play. And you know, believe it or not, that is one way to fill your cup, especially when you've been focused on resources and making sure you have everything that you need. Taking a day off to relax and play and reflect and just, you know, be rather than do can really help refill your cup and you know, make you ready to go seeking those resources again tomorrow. Keep doing that work. On the sun side of the page, like I said, Mercury. We are communicating, and we are planning, and we are thinking, and we are analyzing, cogitating about our connection to spirit and how it can be good. Our connection, you know, what we need to do to solve a difficult problem without succumbing to negativity, and also thinking about what it is that we like to receive, what it is that we need to receive in terms of attention and affection, but also in terms of compensation and just basic resources that we've got to have in order, you know, to maintain our basic human dignity. And then also thinking about, you know, the bigger picture, our bigger idea, our grander idea for what we can be. In the moon side of the page, we had that very positive early morning changes in the heart and home going well. Moon sextile Uranus is a great time if you want to, you know, clean up the kitchen and change where you keep the coffee pot. You know, let somebody know that's what you're doing, but it's probably going to be okay. Moon conjunct Venus. I said Neptune, but Moon conjunct Venus. Really, Venus is going to be conjunct Neptune tomorrow, so it's really just sort of opening up our hearts and making us more receptive to what is coming in, because sometimes we think we know what we desire, and so we put up a block, or we become blind to what is actually coming into us. And you know, there's usually something there to be grateful for and to use as a resource as well. And the moon conjunct Neptune early tomorrow morning, because these two are about to conjunct, we will have increased sensitivity. It can be easy to be confused. Hopefully we're dreaming at this time, and it's just a funny little dreamy dream, right? Okay, one more shuffle here, and I will go ahead and turn this card. Ooh, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so the Queen of Pentacles, if you look at this the right way, this person could almost look like they're pregnant, right? And there's that bunny in the bottom right-hand corner. It's sort of a nod to fertility. There are all these roses and life growing around this person, because this is the person who nurtures the seed, okay? Once the seed has been planted, or once the child has been conceived, and you know, this is like once the plan has been made, once we have created our best idea of ourselves and planted the seed for that in our lives, then this is an energy of really nurturing that, making sure that all of the things we think, say, and do really pull us in the direction of the good outcome of this seed that we have planted. Okay, so if I have a specific plan to take over the world, and I have these objectives to achieve. Taking over the world is a very big project. A lot of the projects that we would like to take on, those things that really expand ourselves and our sense of what we can be, do, and have, this is not something that's just one step. There are several steps between me and my goal of taking over the world. So, I have to know what those steps are. This person knows what those steps are. And this person also knows just how to nurture that goal, right? To always be feeding that goal, giving myself and giving my life the things that bring me closer to my goal of taking over the world. And also, watering, making sure things are kept clean and clear around my goal, so that the boundary of my goal is very well defined, and what it is that I'm trying to achieve is very well defined. And then nurturing earth, nurturing soil, a solid foundation, a well-resourced foundation in which to have my plan to take over the world put down roots and blossom into a thing that's actually growing and that will actually work for me. So, those potentials in our lives, those plans that we'd like to make for ourselves, that bigger, better, more broadly imagined version of ourselves, where we live in the ideal place and we act in the ideal way and we're doing the ideal kind of work or job or play, it's something that we have to pay attention to and have to be stepping in the direction of. And taken together with this sort of poverty mindset here, avoiding the help, honestly, let's not be the person who's avoiding the help of resources from outside, because, we can't make the water for our seeds ourselves. Okay. We have to take water from another source. And same thing with nutrients and sunshine. None of us can be the source of those things, the ultimate source of those things for our plan, but we can be the one who pushes those resources in that direction. So ask for what you need and resource what you can on your own. And I'll also say that the White Rabbit speaks to intuition. It speaks to trusting your gut, trusting your nature, in your ability to cause something that you have planted to grow. And I believe that's all I have to say about that today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate you for being here. My name is Mel Rose, and I will see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today.